Okay. So, लैक्टेल ने फैटी एसिड एंड ग्लिसरॉल एब्सॉर्ब करके लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम में ले गया था एंड blood capillary absorbed glucose and amino acid and took it to liver, right? So we'll be discussing this only. Ileum contains villi. Villi has blood capillary. Blood capillary absorbs glucose and amino acid and takes it to liver. Ileum has villi. Villi has blood capillaries. Blood capillary absorb glucose and amino acid, takes it to liver. Villi. Villi contains blood capillary. Blood capillary absorbs. Blood capillary absorbs glucose and amino acid, takes to liver. Takes to liver. Now, this is liver से सुकून से समझिएगा जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. दिस इज लिवर. ब्लड कैपिलरी. दिस इज लिवर. ब्लड कैपिलरी brings in glucose and amino acids. सही है. Useful glucose and useful amino acids. Useful glucose and useful amino acids goes to body by blood. सही. बॉडी में जाते हैं थ्रू ब्लड. देखो, जितना भी ग्लूकोज था वो सारा का सारा और अमाइनो एसिड सारा का सारा कहाँ पर आ गया? लिवर में. सही. सिर्फ यूजफुल ग्लूकोज और यूजफुल अमाइनो एसिड कहाँ चला गया? बॉडी में, ब्लड के थ्रू. एम आई क्लियर? ठीक. समझना बात को मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. जो बच गया वो क्या है? वो है एक्सेस ग्लूकोज और एक्सेस अमाइनो एसिड. जो बचा वो क्या है? एक्सेस ग्लूकोज एंड एक्सेस अमाइनो एसिड्स. एक्सेस ग्लूकोज बच गया और एक्सेस अमाइनो एसिड बच गया लिवर में. यूजफुल चला गया और एक्सेस बच गया. ठीक है. एक्सेस ग्लूकोज वुड बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू ग्लाइकोजन. सही है. और ग्लाइकोजन क्या होता है? एक्सेस ग्लूकोज कन्वर्ट हो गया ग्लाइकोजन में। ग्लाइकोजन क्या है? स्टोर्ड फॉर्म ऑफ ग्लूकोज, सही है। ग्लाइकोजन वापस से कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा ग्लूकोज में अगर हमारी बॉडी को नीड होगी। लेट्स से एट द टाइम ऑफ स्टारवेशन व्हेन वी आर नॉट टेकिंग इन ग्लूकोज, तो यही ग्लाइकोजन कन्वर्ट होके क्या बन जाता है? ग्लूकोज। एम आई क्लियर? एंड इट इज डन बाय ग्लूकागॉन, बाय ग्लूकागॉन। और एक्सेस ग्लूकोज ग्लाइकोजन में कन्वर्ट कौन करता है? इंसुलिन। मैं फिर रिपीट कर रहा हूं ताकि समझ आ जाए आप लोगों को। एक्सेस ग्लूकोज ग्लाइकोजन में कन्वर्ट हुआ बाय इंसुलिन। यही ग्लाइकोजन वापस से किसमें कन्वर्ट हुआ? ग्लूकोज में, बाय ग्लूकागॉन। नाउ दिस इज हाउ इट हैपेंस। दिस इज हाउ इट हैपेंस। दिस इज हाउ इट हैपेंस। एक्सेस ग्लूकोज ग्लाइकोजन में कन्वर्ट हुआ और ग्लाइकोजन वापस से ग्लूकोज में कन्वर्ट हो गया। लेकिन ये यूजफुल ग्लूकोज और अमाइनो एसिड है, ये ब्लड में चला गया था, बॉडी में ब्लड में चला गया था, ठीक है। जो बचा था ग्लूकोज का क्या हुआ? कन्वर्टेड इनटू ग्लाइकोजन। ग्लाइकोजन कन्वर्टेड इनटू ग्लूकोज अगेन if needed. Excess amino acid are made up of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen and nitrogen. सही, ठीक है। एक्सेस अमाइनो एसिड है, मैंने क्या बोला? अमाइनो एसिड इज मेड अप ऑफ कार्बन, ऑक्सीजन, हाइड्रोजन एंड नाइट्रोजन, राइट? क्योंकि प्रोटीन से बनता ही है। एक्सेस अमाइनो एसिड पर एक प्रोसेस होगा, उसका नाम है डीएमाइनेशन। एंड डीएमाइनेशन इज ब्रेक डाउन ऑफ अमाइनो एसिड्स। सीओएच अलग हो जाएगा, एन अलग हो जाएगा। COH becomes glucose and N would become urea. अब ये ग्लूकोज जो है, if it is needed it would go into the body, if it is not it would convert itself into glycogen, and urea would go into kidney to be excreted as urine, excreted as urine, ठीक है। I'll repeat the liver again. Ileum contains villi, villi has blood capillary absorbs glucose and amino acid that takes it to liver. Whatever is coming from ileum, if it is useful, it would go into the body by blood. But if it's excess glucose would convert into glycogen. And at the time of the need, glycogen would be back converted into glucose through glucagon. And excess amino acid, I'm talking about excess amino acid that has carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. What would happen to it? Deamination, breakdown of amino acid. COH would be broken down different, and N अलग हो गया, N is urea nitrogenous and COH would be glucose. If needed, glucose would be going into the body. If not, this glucose would also be converted into glycogen. Am I clear with this? So now the next step is of lymphatic system. Listen up everyone. Helium contains villi. Helium contains villi. Helium has villi. Villi contains lacteal Lacteal absorb fatty acids and glycerols takes it to lymphatic system. Takes it to lymphatic system. Say, now what would happen? Fatty acids and glycerols absorbed by lacteal. Lacteal makes lacteal makes fatty acid glycerol as lymph. Lymph goes to lymphatic system. Lymph goes to lymphatic system, and lymphatic system deposits lymph under the skin and over the organs and over the organs. I'll repeat it. Fatty acid and glycerol absorbed by lacteal. Lacteal makes lymph. Lymph goes to lymphatic system. lymph क्या होता है? lymph क्या होता है? lymph is mixture of fatty acids and glycerols. See? Goes to lymphatic system, and lymphatic system deposits lymph under the skin के नीचे and over the organs. This is the assimilation of fatty acid and glycerols. This is the assimilation of fatty acid and glycerols. ये complete हो गया. ठीक है. अच्छा, why it is deposited there? To provide insulation, insulation, and that is temperature control. It would be elaborated once we are doing the skin structure, inshallah. ठीक है. So we are done with it, and now we are discussing the syllabus. Identify the main region of the digestive system: mouth, salivary gland, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, includes duodenum, ileum, pancreas, liver, gallbladder, large intestine, colon, rectum, and anus. ठीक है. अब सी गॉल ब्लैडर. How would you identify gall bladder? Balloon shape on liver, pancreas, leaf shape near liver, And how would you identify liver? Triangular shape beneath lungs. Lungs के नीचे it's a triangular shape. Okay, done at this point. Explain why most of the food must be digested before they can be absorbed so that it can get smaller and get into the streams. Describe physical digestion as the breakdown of food into smaller pieces without chemical change to the food molecule. Physically, the food molecule ऐसे ही break नहीं होते and it is done by teeth. Same. 4. Describe chemical digestion as the breakdown of large molecules into smaller. We have discussed it, and this is done by enzyme. Okay. State that physical digestion increases the surface area of food and the action of enzymes in the chemical digestion. मैंने बताया था आप लोगों को कि जो physical digestion होती है that breaks down the food and so that enzymes can work over it. ठीक है. Identify the type of teeth. Incisors. Incisors are flat. Canine are pointed. Premolars and molars are wide, like a tooth. Wide tooth. Next in line. Describe the structure of human teeth limited to enamel, dentine pulp, cement. Understand the teeth are embedded into the gums. The functions of teeth in physical digestion. ठीक है. अब इसको जरा देख लेते हैं एक मरतबा. Teeth का external structure would be like this. Yeah. ये enamel हो गया. The inner side is pulp cavity, and this is dentine. You do not need to know the function of all these, but you just need to know कि मार्क कहाँ होगा और ये गम में embed होता है. Okay, there are 4 types of teeth: incisors, canines, premolar, and molar. The function of incisors is cutting. Canine is gripping. It grips the food. And premolar and molar grinding and crushing. You can also let's just say chewing. Am I clear? The type of teeth and function of teeth. Now, functions of the main region of digestive system limited to mouth ingestion, physical digestion, chemical digestion of starch by amylase, salivary gland secretion of saliva containing amylase, stomach physical digestion, chemical digestion by protease, presence of hydrochloric acid in gastric secretions, small intestines, duodenum and ileum, chemical digestion by of starch by amylase, maltose by maltase, protein by protease and lipids by lipase. ये तो हम पढ़ चुके हैं, right? Liver production of bile and storage of glycogen, uh, gallbladder storage of bile, pancreas alkaline secretion containing amylase, protease and lipase. Ileum and colon is for absorption, rectum and anus for ejection. This is what we have done in our first class of human nutrition. So, now describe the function of amylase, maltase, protease, and lipase, listing the substrate and end products limited to. Amylase breaks down starch into maltose. Maltase breaks down maltose to glucose. Protease breaks down protein into amino acid. ये दो नाम जो मैंने यहाँ पर बीच में स्किप किए हैं, दे आर नॉट नेसेसरी बी टोल्ड. अगर बताना चाहो तो बता दो कि मसला नहीं, कोई इशू नहीं. ठीक है. देन lipase break down lipids into fatty acids and glycerols. Describe the function of hydrochloric acid in stomach as killing ingested bacteria. We have discussed this. Understand that the different proteases present in the stomach and duodenum work best at different pH level, but the pH level should be acidic, low or high for protease. Okay? Outline the role of bile emulsifying the fat, increase surface area, and chemical digestion to fatty acid and glycerol by lipase. Describe peristalsis as made of contraction of longitudinal and circular muscles which move through digestive system. ये जो longitudinal है, इसको हम रेडियल भी बोल सकते हैं. क्या बोल सकते हैं? रेडियल. You need to understand all this. And I guess everything is done from this page. Alhamdulillah. So yeah, this is the syllabus. Now coming to the absorption and assimilation part. State that small intestine is the region where nutrients are absorbed. कौन सा वाला part? Small intestine का eating. Understand that absorption by diffusion, osmosis, and active transport is the movement of nutrients from the intestine into the cell lining of digestive system and into the blood capillaries. ये होता है through villi. Understand assimilation is the uptake of and use of by cell of nutrients from the blood. Describe the structure of villus and the role of capillaries and lacteal. We have just done this. इसको हम finger like तो नहीं बोलते, और hair like तो नहीं बोलते. We would say this is finger like structure. ठीक है. Explain the significance of villi and microvilli increasing the surface area. सही है. तो इलियम हम बोलेंगे efficient, understand that water is absorbed from the lumen of small intestine and colon, but that most absorption of water happens in small intestine. Small intestine किस part में? Eating. State the function of hepatic portal vein as the route taken by the liver. अच्छा, अब this thing would be discussed in our next chapter, and that is transport in men. So this is actually two parts: human digestive system and absorption and assimilation. Okay. 8.1 is based on the dietary part. We'll be doing it later, but we have done 8.2 and 8.3. Okay.